You're listening to Founder Friday Clare, backed by Bank of Ireland.
Right, well, thanks very much for coming.
No bother.
It's fantastic to have you. Eat your products all the time.
Cool.
So it's good to finally meet the maker.
Good start. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's a good start when you're eating it.
So give us a little insight, first of all, about obviously what you guys do. What is Mears Pork Products?
Well, I suppose our USP is we make a square pudding. And it started many months ago. We're a 43-year-old business now. And it started originally back across from the Queen's Hotel. If you want a little bit of the background, and it'll lead it straight into how it all kicked off. So the 6th of June 1975 it all started. My dad and my uncle Ollie decided to open a butcher shop in Ennis down across from the Queen's Hotel, which was Central Buildings. It's now YOLO, the pub. And so the first butcher shop was opened there, and they used to make their own homemade black and white pudding and sausages, and they got the recipe for the pudding from their mother. She was a great woman for making pudding, which was always, for some reason, it was the women that always made the pudding in the house. She was great for making pudding. She passed it on to the two boys. My dad had a keen interest in production, more so than the front of shop. He hated the front of shop, so he was always out the back trying to avoid people making stuff. And so that's how it started. So they used to make it in there. One Christmas they got caught for time, and because it's a very laborious job making pudding, you have to fill it by hand into casings. And they decided that they were going to cut time short. They used to make hams as well. They used press hams, which is like a big machine like that. And they decided to put the pudding mix into the ham press and boil it like that. They just thought we'll cut out all the filling it into casings bit, and they put out this big massive pudding on the counter, and then they used cut it off, and people used to come and take off whatever. So
basically, your uniqueness came from I can't be arsed.
A complete accident, and I couldn't be arsed doing this. There has to be a quicker way around this. I am not spending my whole days doing this out the back, and that was it. Christmas came and went. It sold great, which their pudding sold anyway, but nobody had any problem going in just buying lumps of it, and they used to take it home, then chop it and fry it themselves. It's no different. And after Christmas then they went, well, we're not making it a more conventional shape, we can't just have this big massive lump thing. So they've done the 5 pound tins, long tins, which they still use to this day. And that's it. Yeah.
And it's an interesting business as well, because you're based out in Quinn, is that right?
Yeah. So they were together. The two boys worked hand in hand together. Dad then decided that he had enough of, the whole butcher shop and that, and he went, look, can I take the pudding and sausages, bring it out to Quinn, and you hold on to the butcher shop? And he did. So my uncle headed on to the butcher shop, bought a second one up in the market, which we still have today, which is ours. And Dad built a self-contained unit out in Quinn, which was my mother's double garage. And it was there ever since. So, and I was very small, so I knew no different. I presumed everyone made black and white pudding outside in their garage. I thought that was the norm. And
you were literally born into this.
Yeah. It was quite normal to be. So I worked after school. So when I'd finished school, I was one of 5. So the 2 older boys were in secondary school, so they were doing exams, and that's very important. So they got away with it all. And then my sister, and she was the first girl, so she was spoiled rotten, so she didn't have to do nothing, and then it was just happened to fall on me. And I thought, oh sure, look at here, go on, go out. So I learned to pack puddings and sausages at, I think I was about 5 or 6. I was sent into the butcher shop for a summer. I was going in the evenings to learn. They would show me how to do it, and then the business was transferred out to Quinn, out to home. So when I'd finished school, I'd go home and pack all the sausages and puddings. My dad would make them all day. I'd go home and pack them and pack them, and he'd do my homework for me, which was great. So I hated homework, yeah. So I can't have one and one.
So you were getting A's and he was getting
absolutely. Now they found out after a while when I couldn't. The tests weren't great, but I was a dinger at puddings. You couldn't, yeah. So then I trained up the staff that he has. So he started employing local women. And they'd come in the evenings and I'd show them what to do, and then gradually, and then I went off. He sent me off to school and eventually.
So your father, I suppose, was a little bit ahead of his time. He was an entrepreneur himself.
Oh, way ahead of his time. So in lots of other ways as well. He bought the house that he bought as well. He bought a load of land with the intention of selling the land. He was always wheeling dealing. There was no stopping him, and he still is to this day. You still can't stop him.
Absolutely, and I suppose at the time the thinking probably would have been, you have your shop, that's what you have, and you don't really need to go anything beyond that. If you're making a living, you're making a living. But it was obviously something that he said that said,
well, he made 2 businesses out of one. So he made 2 very successful businesses out of one. one startup, he split it, you know. So there was a market for it. So he used, he put one van on the road then, and then one person, and that one van and one person would sell it. You know, so the van would load up every day, whatever bit he made, he'd send it out. And they're customers that we still have today in Ennis. You know, we still have the same, like Jim O'Dowd retired there. He was one of our first customers, you know. It was lovely. So you had a bit of a lump in your throat going in saying bye to Jim when he retired. You're like, you know, thanks very much for all the years. You know, it's great. Yeah.
And is it important as well from the point of view of, I mean, here's a business that is quite clearly part of the community as well. It's not just, you don't just make stuff and give it out to people, but you know people, you work with them.
Employ local people as well. All local people, and all, you know, through the years you meet, and then family members, and then in the summertime, kids who'd come in, you know, sticking on stickers in the summertime, lovely, who are now grown up, married women, you know, and great, it's lovely, you know. And
so what happens then when, I suppose, the business moves over to you? It's your responsibility now.
The baton, is it?
Yeah.
Pension on the baton.
And it's on your shoulders. Is there a sense of pressure then, because you know you've been there since the start?
No, bang on, you hit it on the head. I've been there since the start, so it's no different. You know, my dad has retired, I think, 4 or 5 times. That's nothing unusual. He retires every January, but he's back there. But he's back by February. You know, he'll last about it and go, I'm going off my head. I can't sit there listening to your mother again. But he can't walk away, but nobody wants him to walk away. Nobody ever wants him to walk away. He's semi-retired. You know, you never say he's retired to him. Forgive. But he'll always be there. You know what I mean? He's never going to not be. He can't be. It's actually his back door. He can't help it. He eats, sleeps and breathes it. And he's great interest, and every time he says he's retiring, something else happens, and we win another award, and he's there again.
But is that great for you as well, that kind of experience didn't just kind of walk away and then just go, right, I've got a house in Spain,
no, there was no truth. So it's grand. It's very gradual, you know. There's no, okay, this is it now, as of the 3rd I'm out of here, or you know, no, there was none of that.
So you take over, so obviously you're thinking to yourself, okay, make it work. So where do you start?
Oh God, where did you start? I suppose our first protocol was, we knew the sausages were up and running and everything was fine. The pudding had dropped back because when we joined the EU, the business wasn't suited the way it was built up. Wasn't suited to do the two. You couldn't cross-produce pudding, which is a cooked product, with sausages, which is a raw product. So we had to concentrate on bringing up the pudding. Pudding was coming back into fashion. There was rumours, you know, and so I was approached by SuperValu to do their food academy, and we had a good product. We know we had a good product, but our packaging was appalling, our marketing was appalling, everything was wrong. So they took it on hand, and they told me exactly, you know, they changed the size of the pudding. You know, it was square, but it was way bigger. I think it was nearly a half pound to a pound size of that. So now it's 300 gram. We changed the bag. The bag was a normal vac bag, which has got ears hanging out the side of it. We changed it to a vac bag, a double dip bag, which is a cheese bag. So it tidies it right up. Stickers don't really work on them because they're dipped in water, and no matter how good the glue is on them, you still find stickers falling off, and it looks awful. And then they wanted me to go down the Clonakilty route and put it into a box that we didn't want to do. So we came up with a wrap around it. So it's lovely, neat and tidy, it's square, it sits, it doesn't fall, it doesn't roll off a shelf like a normal one. So an awful lot of work went into it then. So thanks to SuperValu and Carmel and the local enterprise office, they gave us that leg up to start off. So they started there, and then they gradually bring you along. They say, you know, we'll start you in County Clare and Galway to me, and Tipperary. And then I went to Cork myself and Kerry.
And is that something that's kind of difficult to adjust to, in that if you want to grow and expand, it's not just about making sales, it's also about the marketing, getting the packaging, doing all these things as well?
So you could have a great product and, you know, it could just sit there. You know, how do you know? You're never going to, it's very hard. It's one, you think you've like jumped one hurdle, you know, oh, I've got it, I've produced it, I have it, it's great. Now you've put it on the shelf, now you have to get them to buy it. You know, it's like, oh bugger, I've got that bit. You know, well, yeah, you have to buy it. So hugely, your marketing's massive. Now, we just changed a couple of simple things on ours and it made the difference, you know? And it was very obvious, and it's very hard for somebody that's in it. You can't see it sometimes. You're going, I think that's lovely. I think I turned up on the first day to the Food Academy thing, and I had my own ideas. I think I had a gold bag, and they still laugh about my gold bag to this day, and I still think that's a lovely gold bag, but it was absolutely appalling. When you look back at it now, you go, what was I thinking? You know, but it takes someone else to go, no, you know, because you're so caught up in the production of it, the making of it, you're so, you can't see, you know, and it just goes, to get someone, an outsider, and a fresh pair of eyes to go, no, no, forget it, yeah.
And that recipe as well, obviously,
it's the exact same recipe. Yeah, never changed it.
Never changed?
Yeah, never changed. No. So the exact same pudding. It's changed its style over the years, a bit like ourselves. Yeah. Changed my genes.
Yeah. And if you want to sell it to Europe, sell it across the world, does it have to change? If you want to sell it to the States, do they have different rules or something like that? Or
no,
just go?
No, go as. Now, I have a license to export, but I can't to America. So I can go anywhere in Europe and I can send it anywhere, as it is. Yeah, but I can't to America.
And how do you, I suppose, decide where to go and sell it? Is there kind of...
We'll take it. Very easy. I know. Well, you look at your trends. Well, I suppose because we're such an older established business, we had our feet well secured in County Clare, you know, so we were grand in Clare, that was fine. But we didn't have the Dunnes or the Tesco's now, that's a different story. And I suppose that comes, you know, with time as well. So when I kind of stepped in, I suppose we'd never say kind of stepped in, that was our thing. We were like, we have to hit the bigger ones. You know, you can't depend on the small shop at the corner, you know. Can we not go for Dunnes? And like, that's a huge undertaking. And Tesco's. So we went, I think the first one we went for was Dunnes Stores. No, I don't know how many no's we had from Dunnes Stores. We were nearly sick of them. And then Tesco were great. They were very open about it. Took us on. Kilrush was opening, so they wanted to take on local suppliers, and they were very keen to bring in local people, so they took it on from there. Coonagh Cross, then Ennis took us at the same time as Kilrush. That all started as a one unit, and then they gave us Coonagh Cross because the manager knew us because he's a holiday house in the Hinch. It just shows you, like, you know, you never know who you're talking to sometimes. And we met him one night in a lock-in in a bar.
Nice. It's always the best place to be.
He goes, I'm the manager of Coonagh Cross. And then he fell. I went, no way. I said, I'll see you on Tuesday. Walked in, he went, there you go. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, there you go. So it's just amazing now. It's just staying for more lock-ins in Lahinch.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that was Tesco, and Dunnes was just a stroke of luck and a lot of persistence with them, and paid off eventually. It's getting the right man at the right time, the right manager. They change an awful lot, their staff in head office, so you're never dealing, you know, you could be talking to one person, then 6 months later go, oh no, he's gone to the Fresh, you know, he's gone to Ambient, he's gone to, oh no, he's not in charge anymore. So we got Dunnes, which we were delighted with. Yeah. So that opened up Ennis to us, and then opened up Limerick last year to us. Yeah. So I'm in with them. I was in with them today. That's why I was later, and I smelled like a chip shop. And then they put us forward for the Irish Quality Food Awards. That's kind of skipping on. And then we won Best Small Producer for Dunnes Stores then this year, which has opened up the market for us altogether. So we're now leading into supplying them with the Simply Better range. So,
and you won Boston Heron as well, you best market.
So we'd never done again. That was another kind of new, fresh minds coming in, was when we went for Dunnes and Tesco. When we went to head office in Tesco, that was it. The guy that... Tesco changed an awful lot about 3 years ago. They were in trouble in Ireland, and they were beginning to weed out people. And so they gave us the call, and we were like, oh, this is definitely the hatchet now, if we ever met it. So we were going up to get kicked out. We knew that. And I was just starting with Food Academy for Super Value. And it was the boys that went up. I got caught anyway, sent the boys up, and they had the pudding in their pocket, which we always go around to puddings in our pockets. And like that for Tesco, he went, look, you know, you're small, we're doing this. And he was more or less saying, look, lads, terribly sorry, but thanks for coming. And Barry showed him the pudding, and he's going, and when are you hoping for? When is it? And we're like, we're hoping for March. And he goes, what you'll do is, he goes, stay where you are. He goes, but you have to go and win a medal with it. He goes, put that in for an award. He goes, and come back to me. And that's what we did. Now, we had no intention. We'd never gone for an award in our lives. We were a 40-year-old business at this stage. And we're like, imagine going home today. Now we're going for an award. Oh, yeah. It was like, yeah, brown envelopes. You know, yeah. Then he goes, that's all payoffs. To mind them. Oh, yeah, no, it's a lovely pudding to mind. You don't need an award. So I went for the first one and won it, and sure, it was all his idea then, you know, so it was great.
Blas na hÉireann is a pretty serious award because they don't just, it's not like a...
So serious, brilliant, and it's all now connected with Bank of Ireland, which is a great idea because Blas is only getting bigger, and it just, you know, and you know they have the back and of the banks and with Blas. So Blas is fabulous. So we won that. First year we won gold for the black pudding. And I'll never forget, it's very funny because we, you know, it's very cliquey and they all know each other, don't they? And it's all small producers, so they all know who you are. So they're going, who is this cheeky one going to have to get in gold? Like, it was a non-runner, they knew who was going winning. There was a local guy that was supposed to be chalked up to win the black pudding, and he came nowhere, and I won. And he chased me down the street after me, going, "Where are you from? Where'd you get that pudding from? I nearly went into my stomach about the black pudding." I said, "You know, you're all right, don't worry about it." Yeah, so that was, and then we won the following year. So that's 3 years ago we started entering, and we've won it always since. Yeah.
Wow, fantastic. And so, like, when you get into Dunnes or Tesco's or etc., whatever, obviously production changes because you need to ramp it up and you need to, but you have to make sure that it tastes just as good as the ones that did before. So how do you match that?
That's where the old retired man comes in, you see. Yeah. And that's how he comes out of retirement all the time, because every time there's a new order or there's and he always has a new idea, and you're like, will you stop? You know, he's leave it out there, just leave it as it is. Oh no, I can make it better. You're like, no, don't touch it. No, it's very easy. You know, we have the facilities, it's our own, it's at home, you know, it's purpose built for it, you know, it's perfect. You know, we have Pádraig Flynn, who's great to us, our health inspector. He comes out all the time, helps us make sure, you know, we're on the straight and narrow, everything's okay. So it's fine. It's not, it's like, it's very easy to employ people. It's very easy to get people in, you know.
And what about selling it in Europe and etc.? How are sales going, and how do you get into those kind of places as well?
Oh God, you can do, I suppose, but with Brexit and stuff like that, you wouldn't be overly interested at the moment. At the end of the day, we're a small family business outside in Queen, you know. Do you want to go to that? Do you want to know?
I don't know. You said.
I don't know. I'm going to let the next generation decide doing that one. Up to 10 years ago, we were only in County Clare.
Yeah.
Now, so to me, I feel great. I brought it to Galway and Limerick, and it's now in Dublin with Dunnes Stores. So for us, do you know what? I think Ireland is enough for me at the minute.
What about increasing your product range as well? Because
absolutely. Like
sausage rolls apparently.
Sausage rolls, is the thing. Is the buzzword at the minute. So all thanks to the market. Thank you. They took off from there because we had to do something different. We didn't want to be bringing the sausages and puddings in again, so we brought in the sausage rolls and started them. And they took off from there, and the flour was great as well for us because we were heating them up, selling them, so we knew it was a great way of finding out what ones worked, what ones didn't work. It was a quick fix, you know, and it was like 5 full-on days. And we're like, yeah, that one works, that one doesn't work, you know. It was great. And with the market as well, you knew what was working and what wasn't working. And then with that, so for the Irish Quality Food Awards, the Q Awards, which that's the one that Dunnes Stores look out for. If you can get one of those, they're interested, you know, their ears prick up. We went for best small producer for them, and they pick you. You don't go for it. They contact you. So there's 5 businesses in Ireland they pick. 2 from County Clare got through this year, and 3 others. So we're a real broad range this year. There was a granola, there was me and the puddings, there was a whiskey, there was a sauce, like a tomato sauce. Real broad range, and like that on the night we won it this year. On the night, he said the edge they gave you was, look at, you're looking so to the future. You know, your sausage rolls, fabulous. You know, within time we'll take on the pudding as it is now, perfect. Don't touch a thing. But definitely we're going working with the sausage rolls, and we'll take them.
And how do you make, because I've often wondered, like, how do you make awards work for you? I mean, like, does it make it easier for you going in somewhere going,
absolutely, opens doors everywhere. People ring you. Yeah, you don't have to be, very hard to get into a shop. You know, any shop, any corner shop, it's hard to, you know, all small shops are struggling at the minute. All the big ones are okay. But like Dunnes Stores, if I walked into Dunnes Stores just going, oh, hello, where are you? We take products. You're going, off you off. Where are you? Get out in your van. But the minute you have an award or anything on it, you know, and they look for that now, and that's what they do. And that's why a great connection with Blas and the Bank of Ireland, you know, because everyone's looking for it. Everyone's beginning to look for quality now. You know, there's today, like I was in Dunnes Stores, as I said, doing a tasting in Childers Road, and I was at an end at the shop, and there was a Denny's pudding, €1. Another stick of pudding, I don't know what it was, €1, and then there was me, $2.79. And you're like going, how in the name of God am I going to sell a $2.79 pudding when there's 2 sticks of white pudding beside me at €1 each? Not one of those €1 sticks hardly went. They all threw them back once they've tasted it and they know what it is. And there's, provenance. People are beginning to, look for quality again, which is great. And there's a market for good quality products out there, and they're catching on. And like SuperValu started it all off with the food academies and that, and now Dunnes Stores have really jumped on the back of that and have picked up the baton. SuperValu are not sure what to do with all of us now, because they're just like bringing us all in, and they're like, oh, now what do we do with them? But Dunnes are now taking it to another level, and they're like putting them into their Simply Better range, which is a great idea. That's fabulous. So you're the cream of the crop in Ireland, so why not stick?
Absolutely.
Yeah, go with it.
So what's next then?
I'm thinking of retiring. Did I tell you? Plan to retire next year.
Like your dad planned to retire, is it?
Yeah.
Always working.
Yeah. No, I'll be retired before him. I don't know. No, this year now I think is going to be a big year. And my husband always says that, Barry, he goes, you don't realise how big a year this is. And I'm like, don't say that to me now, you make me nervous. But because of Dunnes Stores and that, and I know I keep on saying about it, all that's going to start happening in the next few weeks. So we've a lot going on this year. So it's great. So we'll take our time. A bit like the retirement. We'll all along with it. It's January. It's great to get January out of the way. Nobody likes January in any business or anything like that. February and springtime, and then no. Sausage rolls is the buzzword now this year. I believe so. Yeah, I heard someone told me.
Black pudding's a superfood.
Superfood, yeah, full of iron, black pudding. Yeah, right up there. Yeah.
It was in the couple last year as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But is that the challenge with a premium product though? Is that you are a premium product?
Yeah.
But it's really in the taste, and the people understand that it's premium product. And that means that you have to get out there and make sure that people actually taste it.
You have to keep, tastings are so important. They're so important. Like for us, it's the only way. You can put it on the shelf and it would just sit there. You have to push it, and it's hard work. I've been cooking all day, but they don't bother me. Do you know what I mean? They're like last weekend I done Dunnes Stores in Ennis, and it was the first Dunnes Stores that we were allowed to do. And I've done the Friday, Saturday. And you don't even, it doesn't bother you. You're going in, you're meeting people, just into the word. I'm so used to them now. I remember my first few I done, I was petrified. You're afraid of your life to even talk to anyone. It's now, I just don't take any notice. And the more relaxed you are about it, the more the more people buy it. Because if you're like going, oh, or getting all caught up, I'm like, no, eat away. I'd never stop anyone from eating. Kids, let them off. Their mother will come back someday, or they'll remember it someday. Yeah. And they always do. Yeah.
Is it about not worrying about the people who don't like it?
There's always one of those, isn't there? There's one of those in every life. You always go oh sure, look, each to their own. Everyone's different. They all hate it. I'd be a millionaire and I wouldn't be here. Yeah.
So in terms of the future, bright future, you're going to be bigger, better by the end of this year?
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. And then there is the whole, do you continue on? There's a lot of questions now and a lot of things to be sorted this year. But I always say that every year now. I always go, in 12 months I'll have it all sorted now and I know exactly what I'm doing, and then something else. But that's business, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You never sit down, because the minute you sit down, it'll all stop. So, fingers crossed now.
And if there, I don't know if there's anybody in here who actually has a food business, but if they do, what kind of advice would you give to somebody who's either starting out or is trying to grow? Listen to other people. Just keep your ears open, and be open to suggestions and take on as much as you can. And like lock-ins, if somebody says go to a lock-in, go to a lock-in.
Yeah. Always go to lock-ins. They're always good. Yeah. So keep your ears open and just like Pádraig, go to Pádraig. Carmel, they've great help. Even though I did ask Pádraig one question once after I bought a van, and he goes, and his answer was, there's only one person that can answer that, Orla, and it's yourself. And I went, well, that's a whole lot of help. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thanks very much for coming out and talking to us. It's absolutely fantastic, and I really wish you the best of luck in 2018 as well.
Thank you.
And I hope that you don't have to retire because you're so busy.
No, here. Yeah. You're busy yourself at the minute.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, Orla from Muse Pudding.
You're listening to Founder Friday Clare, backed by Bank of Ireland.